Greetings. I'm Stan Houston. This is the Jesus Entrepreneur Experience, a radio conversation from the Christian Entrepreneur Network, tcenglobal.org, tcenglobal.org. Just going to take a few minutes this weekend, perhaps some thoughts that will get you to kind of stir your mind, maybe touch your heart, and take action. Again, it's the weekend. A little bit of work to get things done, rest, reflection, relaxation, and worship. That's what it's all about. When someone takes a selfie, we can kind of think that maybe they're a little bit self-absorbed. But actually, there can be some very good things that can come out of knowing something and doing something about ourselves. And so we're going to take a little time today with my good friend David McKnight, who will just be able to direct us in a few thoughts and ideas about how we can be effective entrepreneurs, how we can be effective leaders, how we can be men and women of boldness and strength and God's Spirit by doing a little self-work. That's coming up right now. And as we said here on the Jesus Entrepreneur Experience, as we try to find out how we can better live our lives, I made a little comment about, our selfies. And sometimes that's a mark of self-absorption, but sometimes it has something to do with the kind of people we are and the kind of leadership we give. And so, David McKnight, you feel that doing a selfie might be good as a leader, as an entrepreneur.
Well, taking a good look at yourself and as a leader, as a parent, as a head of an organization, as someone who's building a business, you need to be clear about who you are. And what I mean by that is you need to be self-differentiated. One of the things...
Self-differentiated?
Yes. So
okay.
Let's just...
Okay. Hey, my friend... I've heard of selfies and self-directed, but I've never heard of self-differentiated.
Yes.
Let's go.
Well, let's give a little example I like to use when I talk about this is the idea of a thermometer and a thermostat. So I ask leaders, are you a thermometer or a thermostat? See, a thermometer reflects the temperature in the room. The thermometer reflects the chaos, if you will, or the anxiety that might be being reflected in your family, in your group, in your organization, and I think we see it in our own country right now. If you're a thermostat, you set the temperature. Temperature is going to be this way, and you do not let the anxiety in the room or the anxiousness affect what it is you've done. So, in essence, a leader who's self-differentiated stays connected to the chaos or the anxiety, but not affected by it. And I think so often we see people who are affected by that which they're around. So they have a person who's self-differentiated has the capacity to see things differently, to persist boldly in the face of resistance, to be willing to be vulnerable, to learn to endure, if not to even love solitude, and to muster up the self-regulation that is necessary when a leader's initiative inevitably triggers sabotage. So oftentimes leaders will move in a direction and they immediately get resistance. Things are thrown over the fence at them, and they're talking about change. People don't want to change. They don't want to be changed. So that little illustration of a thermometer and a thermostat, something that I hold in each hand. And oftentimes in consulting, I'm asking the question, so is the leader being affected by what's going on, or is he not? Is he able to hear what's going on, listen, but say, no, we're still going to go east. We're still going to go in this direction. This is the vision, and this is what we're going to follow. So self-differentiated, I think is an important quality in a leader, and we live in truly an anxious society. Families are anxious. We're seeing it. We're actually seeing it today in this whole governmental system. There's a lot of anxiety. And So who's going to cave to the anxiety? Who's going to follow the herd? Who's going to say, no, we need to go this way? So that's what I mean by self-differentiated.
Well, David, this is going to be very helpful. As I said, I've appreciated a lot of your teaching, and just between you and me and the whole group out there, David was actually the one who taught me about what I called, I don't think he called it at that time, but I kind of being a disc jockey and a little bit of a smart aleck sometime, I called it the leadership nap. And I meant by that NAP because you taught me that, non-anxious presence. Now,
Yes.
Is that a part of this?
That is definitely part of this. So when I've often been asked to go into situations where there is a lot of tension, a lot of anxiety, things aren't going well. So they hire me to go in and figure out what's going on. And one of the things I have to keep in mind when I go into that situation is to be a non-anxious presence. And it is very interesting how the different sides will continually try to pull you into their way of thinking. And I have to maintain a sense of that quiet resistance to continue going forward and to lay out a plan and stick to it, no matter how uncomfortable it makes people feel. And generally, when someone's able to be a non-anxious presence, they're self-differentiated, they're in the middle of the situation, but not affected by it. And so we so easily fall prey to the herding effect that happens. Polarizations. They're pulling, either side of being pulled, and we need somebody who can have a non-anxious presence to walk them through out of the mire and the muck and get to a better place.
Well, David, thank you. Just that very concept, the single takeaway, NAP, non-anxious presence. So remember that, and self-directed is good, but you make it even stronger. Not only self-directed, but direct yourself in a way that keeps you self-different, self-differentiated in the midst of the mess. Now, David, we could stop right there, and that'd be worthwhile.
Yeah.
But you give me just
Sure.
a few ideas about, how can you do this?
Yes.
Should you wear a certain outfit or what?
Yeah.
What
What's
should
the
you
secret?
do?
Well, it depends on the baseball cap you've got on. What team are you on? No, it's really something that is an ongoing process for all leaders, because it's not easy, and we give in because we all want to be liked. We all want people to love us and like us, and so the temptation is to lean into those people. We kind of saw it a little bit, in this voting thing, and so let's just take, for example, your senator. He was in that elevator, and those women came after him.
Yes.
They were giving him the chaos, and they wanted him to come their way, and he did. He couldn't define himself in what he was about, and so he kind of placated them for a moment. And that's I'm not going to get into politics so much, but it was a great example of chaos and anxiety throwing itself at a leader and getting the leader to stop and go their way.
And he did.
He did. In leadership, that is, it's about being strong rather than pathology. It's about strength. And one of my biggest things is, so what's right about you? Where's your strength? What do you do well? And hang on to that. That's what gives you the ability to be self-differentiated. You know who you are. You're not trying to understand who you are by the voices around you, but you're clear about who you are. And so it comes up, this idea of, it comes up on the side of personal responsibility rather than faulting the stars or society or environment or my parents. It's inherently an anti-victim, anti-blaming focus. And so it takes some discipline, and it takes some time to work in that direction. But leaders that can be self-differentiated are, in the end, going to provide good, healthy leadership.
David, how can people get a hold of you? Because this would be good coaching and counsel for people. Let me just tell you, David has a lot of experience in. And what I've always admired about him is my wife would even say this about, because she knows us both. She would say, Stan, you tend to be really, really intense, and sometimes you get into it. And sometimes you need to be a little bit more like David and just back off a bit.
Well, my website is McKnightLeadership.com, and you'll find some of my thoughts on there, some podcasts, some a video that talks about some of this. McKnightLeadership.com. Yep.
And by the way, if you just want to also, if you remember our Radio Edge 77 at gmail.com, Radio Edge 77 at gmail.com, I'll be glad to pass you on. You know, David, I also, it's interesting, just about 20 minutes ago, before we have this little conversation, as a result of the chaos going on, there was a comment that came across one column where a woman has said, and she's not writing about either point of view, but here it's interesting. Just 20 minutes ago, she said, "This is about being strong."
Yes, that's right. Yeah, it is.
It's about being strong.
Yeah.
Hey, thank you very much, David. You're one of our regular teachers here, so you'll be back again, I believe.
Yes, I hope so.
And we thank you so much. Always good to have David, and we want to have you too. You see, what this is all about in the 5, 10, 15, 20 minutes, and many of you have now said, Stan, let's see if you can get a little more 5 and 10 minute ones. We do like the 20, 25 minutes, but we have limited time in our life. So more and more we'll do maybe a fast 5 or a 10 minutes of clarity. We still will have our 12 to 20 minutes. If that will work out, it'll be significant for you. But you are invited to join us. Radio Edge 77 at gmail.com. Radio Edge 77 at gmail.com. I'm looking for men and women, entrepreneurs, Christian entrepreneurs with a touch, and maybe even more than a touch, of wisdom, insight, and truth. They have some stories to tell and perhaps some things like David to share with us that can help us all live better, have a good life, a great business, and make our mark for the business we build and for the community of God that we serve. Let's see if we can make that happen together. So, that's what it's all about, and we hope that you will stay in touch. We really appreciate this. We would be grateful if you'd help us out. If you want to go to tcenglobal.org/contribute, tcenglobal.org/contribute, we would be grateful. Thank you so much. All the best and blessings to you. Until next time, bye for now.